Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take a Ride. This is 219. Before I start, I should mention that the homepage is up. I tinkered away, got a Squarespace site, and if you go to takeawide.com, you'll see the page I designed. If you're listening to this, you most likely subscribed, but my goal with the homepage is to have a weekly newsletter that I'm going to be sending out with more content, topics we discussed, links to those topics, Bandcamp links, music videos, and exclusive deals from the sponsors. When I do these advertisements, you're going to hear some discounts you guys can get, but if you sign up for the newsletter, you're actually going to see some other discounts that are better. So just kind of trying to get people to sign up for this newsletter. And again, I'm just trying things, I'm just trying new things, seeing how things work. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm trying. So if you guys can, just go to takeourwide.com and sign up and check it out. Give it a browse. It's going to take me a little while to get all the past episodes on there, but however you're listening to this, your iTunes or your Stitcher feed or however you get podcasts, they're all there. This is just another way for me to reach out to you guys. So let me get going with the sponsors. This episode is brought to you by DaveLevittPhotography.ca. Dave is my friend. He does music videos and websites and promos, and he is a avid music fan, a music lover. He's been shooting bands for a long time. So if you're out in Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo area, just hit up Dave, and he can come do promos or do some live shots for you, and you can put it on your Facebook page or use it for your inserts or whatever. Dave's a quality, talented guy, and all love to Dave for supporting the podcast. So DaveLevittPhotography.ca. Also brought to you by Wellington Brewery. That's out in Guelph. They provide the beer, and they have a grisette, which is, I always mention this one just because they're donating 25 cents of each can to the Guelph Wellington Women in Crisis. So it refers to a French working class woman from the late 17th century. It's a traditional farmhouse style table beer, and it's a good beer. I've had it. They sent me some, and if you guys want to go support them, that'd be dope. They support me, and you can support them, and it's a great little cycle. So all love to WellingtonBrewery.ca for the beers. Also, Kevin Rigo at Hefner Toyota out in Kitchener. The address is 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. So the audience is all abroad and all over the place. Some of us are in the 519 area. And if you are thinking about getting a car and you don't know where to start, go to Kevin at Hefner. He's an honest man, a family man, and if I have the cash, I'm going to him for sure. Maybe one day this podcast could provide that. I can go to Rigo and be like, dude, we worked together, and somehow through talking to my friends, I was able to buy a car. I feel like that's the same sort of shit of like saying like, yeah, my band, it's going to pay my mortgage. But Kevin is a really good guy, and he's supporting this. So I don't know how to word it any better to say he's cool and rad, and I trust him, and you can trust him too. But if you looking for a new car, used car, go to Rigo. I mentioned the show, and you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. So there you go. Next up, we have dapperbeardoil.com. That is Andrew Rashad out in Ottawa. He's got a couple styles of beard oils there. The gold tusk, the black tusk, the scent-free. It's ethically sourced, 100% natural ingredients. It's good stuff. I've had it. Not too intense. It's not like spraying body axe or axe spray or whatever. It's I feel like Dapper's a good name for the company. And to be real, man, the company's like him, in his fucking office setting these things up. It's really quality shit. So just go to dapperbeardoil.com, check it out, take a browse. It's in the description. There's a link. Use the promo code TakerWide free ship for free shipping off your beard oil. So yeah, there you go. Dapperbeardoil.com. Now a couple more here. Heartbeat hot sauce. It's fucking stoked on this. My friend Al, my old friend Al, man. Fuck, I've known Al for a long time, since the Tugnut days, playing in Montreal, and those guys staying at the Nutsack. And I'm lucky to know a lot of friends who are passionate about what they do. Levitt with his photography, Andrew with his beard oil, and Al with his hot sauce. He is legit chef. He knows what he's doing, and I'm gonna sound like an idiot trying to describe his credentials, but I think the best way to verify it is if you guys go and buy some hot sauce, and again, support small business. It's so good, it's fucking great. It's delicious hot sauce, not too crazy. I've been I've been eating the red habanero, which I think is their kind of flagship sauce, or at least the first one that I had of theirs. Really fucking good stuff, and they're doing a dope thing. If you go to TakerWide, or if you use the promo code TakerWide5, that's just the number 5, you'll get 5% off your order. Go browse it, go take a look. Really great hot sauce. And again, if you guys check the newsletter, there's going to be extra deals there. So yeah, heartbeathotsauce.com. And the last fucking advertisement for today is Ironclad Graphics. Ironclad Graphics are out in Kingston. Oh, sorry. My shit just took a shit. Out in Kingston. And they're a screen printing company. They do shirts, posters, hats, toques, koozies. I've been working with them for a long time. They're on board to help me. So go help him. Go take a look, check the pricing. He ships coast to coast. It's competitive. It's good stuff. I don't know what else to say. He's giving you guys a credit, $25 credit on your order if you mention the show. So go check it out. Go to ironcladgraphics.com. Okay, advertisement's done. So for today, I'm talking to Tim, and I'm going to ask him right away how to say his last name. Brault or Brault. I should know this, but Tim, I met him when he was drumming in Hivesmasher, and he's keeping busy with Los Bungalitos. Monster drummer. I think he did some time with the Red Chord. He's out in Massachusetts, and yeah, we're just going to catch up, talk some shit. You want to talk some shit? We'll fucking do it. This is 219 with Tim. Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. You hear me good?
Yeah, it's good, man. That beard is so massive.
Yeah, that's my winter due. I'm still skiing, so until I hang it up for the season, that's the way it's gonna be.
Hey, whatever, man. Fuck it. Jeez. It's funny. I can't really grow a beard like that. Whenever I try, it goes like out like this. It doesn't go like nice and like
so I gotta like trim the sides. That's the key for me, because the same shit happens to me too. It just like goes like straight horizontal instead of
mad homeless
the way it should look.
So man,
there's an art to it.
Yeah, there is. I think I had the dates up. It's been a long time since I saw you, and I'm sorry I missed you guys when you were in Canada. Shit, that was last summer, right?
That was
2 summers ago?
No, that was even longer than that. That was like November 2016, I think.
Jesus, man. Yeah. How was that?
Flies. Oh, it was awesome. We had a great time. We played in. We basically did like kind of a little run through Eastern Canada. We were coming. I think if I remember right, we like went through New York State and like hit Buffalo and then went over, and we played in Oshawa and Toronto with Sego. Hooked that up, and that was awesome.
Cool.
And then we did 2 days in the Montreal area, one at Catacombs, and then one in Drummondville with the guy that does Grind Your Mind.
Oh,
Dave. I think his name is. Yeah, that was a wild dude. That was crazy. It was like Wednesday night house show, middle of nowhere, like, I don't know, 10, 12 people there raging their faces off, like going so fucking hard, embarrassing us because of how hard they're going on like a Wednesday or Tuesday or whatever it was. It was awesome.
Holy shit! I'm surprised you guys got hooked up. How did that? Like, who hooked you guys up with him?
I think, God, hard to remember, but I think it was probably Psycho.
Psycho.
And I know that, yeah. So they're a grime band that started back, I think, in like the late 80s, early 90s. They've been around like forever, from Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
And over the past couple of years, Los Bungalitos have just been playing with them more and more around town. And yeah, they actually when so sort of like I'll go two directions on the same story. So after Montreal, we went to the Maritimes and played with Hard Charger.
Sick.
And we were out there and we did like Fredericton, Moncton, and St. John, and that was awesome.
Cool.
But we got originally hooked up with them because they were asking Psycho for help with a show. Psycho told Hard Charger get a hold of us, and we hooked them up, and we got them one show in Lowell, and they got us like 3 up in the Maritimes. So they like returned the favor and then some. It was pretty sick.
That's cool.
And
man.
those guys rule.
Oh my
They're
god,
so cool.
They're so legit, man. Like they all live in the same house and just fucking tour, work shitty jobs, and they just fucking, well, not all of them work shitty jobs. I think Dave's got a good job, but yeah.
But yeah, they live it, man. They like never stop living Hard Charger unless they're playing with their other bands, basically.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's fucking awesome.
It's crazy. Just like that they get along so well and they live in the same house and they tour. It's like, it seems like it wouldn't work, but somehow, I don't know, it's the East Coast niceness of them or something.
Is that a thing? Because like everyone thinks like in the States, like being on the East Coast, you're supposed to be a dick, you know? Like that's kind of our claim to fame, especially the Northeast compared to the rest of the country.
Yeah, no, I always think of like that Boston area as like hard asses just through whatever pop culture, but yeah, the East Coast, the Maritimes, to me, it's like the South, like really loving and welcoming, and even like with their own accent too.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe when we were there for sure.
Yeah, wow.
We had a great time out there. It was awesome.
That's cool, man. Like I saw you guys playing. I saw you playing with Sego, and it's partially, I think I look at the time that the shows end, and I'm like, I'm gonna be real tired because Toronto's like an hour out for me, and but even still though, it'd be nice to have the time and the money to meet up before, have dinner, catch up.
I know, man. Yeah, I mean that's the best part of touring, and like, or one of the best parts of it, but it's also like really hard to pull off because you're driving in from somewhere, you got somewhere to be.
I know.
You know, it's tough, but yeah, I hear you, man. Like being able to like connect with people and then like see them again and again over the years, that's the best part of the whole thing for me.
That is, dude.
It's just so cool.
Have you, because like I guess we met a couple of years ago, but have you I know you've done your share of touring, but I don't know with Hivesmasher, you guys didn't really tour too hard, did you? Or did you?
We did a few. We weren't trying to be out on the road 200 days a year or anything like that. We do like we would do a couple tours a year maybe, you know, for like 10 days or something like that. But we were like real heavy weekend warriors. Like we did a lot of 3-day weekend stuff. For a while we were like playing in New York way more than we were playing at home. And like just really kind of just crushing it around in like New York State, New York City, New Jersey, Long Island, Massachusetts, like kind of that whole circuit. We were playing a shitload for a while.
Yeah, I always associate you guys with like the Mika's Murder Cats and Tiger Flowers, I think.
Yeah. So
you were part of that crew, right? Like.
Yeah, so the actually Mika's Murder, they just had their perhaps last show 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, Frank took off, right?
And my other one of the other bands I'm playing with now, Drive By Bukkake, who I'm playing bass for, which is awesome. They or we kind of like had the show already, and then they realized that they were having to split up because Keller was moving, and they're like, "Hey, we need to play that show that you have." And I was like, "Well, that's not a problem at all by any stretch of the imagination." So yeah, it worked out good. It was a killer show, but yeah, it was bittersweet, like seeing them split up kind of sucked, but it was an awesome gig. Good way to send them off.
It looks fucking dope. It's the type you hope for as far as a last gig. I can think of a band that did a last gig, and it was just like a regular gig. It's like nothing really memorable about it.
Yeah, it's anticlimactic for sure.
When I met you, was that the first time you were in Canada when we played in Montreal at with Sabs, you guys? Who the fuck else? It was at Piranha Bar.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the first time I had played in Canada.
Huh. What'd you take away from that weekend?
I mean, I've definitely advocated heavily for going back as often as possible because I felt like we got a warmer reception pretty much everywhere we went in Canada than we do in the States on average. Like, doesn't necessarily mean there's like always more people around, but just people seem more psyched. I don't know. Like maybe it's just a little bit less saturated and there's like less bands coming through or something, and therefore when people do, they get like extra psyched about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We just like everywhere, across the different cultures of Canada or whatever. Like that was a universal thing. Is like people were stoked.
On both bands, or mostly one or the other? Or?
Yeah, that's really like the feeling I got from both. Just people were like really psyched to help out, and just wanted to make sure the shows happened and people went and were just like stoked.
Yeah.
The other thing that I realized, especially after booking the Los B tour, which was like the second time around, is that like everybody in Canada knows each other. You guys all like seriously, I'd like hit somebody up and be like, "Oh, who do you recommend in like this area or that area or whatever?" And it's like everybody had the same list. Like all the same names kept coming up over and over again. Anytime I talked to somebody, be like, "Oh yeah, that dude's my cousin. I used to play in a band with that girl." Like whatever. You guys all know each other. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a byproduct of the age group we're in, and the fact that we're like in our 30s still playing. Like there's only a handful of us, and it's like you kind of hold tight to each other, like just don't let go, because I need you to help me out and I want to help you out. No kids are really gonna give a shit about what I'm doing. maybe not.
Yeah, that's true.
The fuck was I gonna say? So with I want to talk about Los Bungalitos for a second, because I in a bit, but I remember we played with you guys in Long Island, I think. But with Hivesmasher, what I wanted to say is like you guys got good reception, but also like the band ripped so hard. So it's partially maybe like Canadians being nice, and another part of just your band's rip. Well,
thanks, man.
Oh, well, it's fuck. I remember when it was kind of getting set up, and there seemed to be like this buzz or whatever with the Hivesmasher, the Gutter Choir record, and it and then we saw you guys, and it was so good. But did it just run its course, or like kind of why did it end?
Yeah,
if it's not too personal.
No, it's not personal at all, really. It just like we had over the years we had a lot of different people in and out of the band. It's there was just, for whatever reason, kind of a revolving door of personnel. And then we kind of like the last couple of years of the band, like by the time we had come up to Canada, we had like pretty much like had a core unit, and then we lost like the one of the main songwriters left the band right like a couple weeks before Gutter Choir came out. And he had engineered a bunch of the stuff. He recorded most of the guitars on the album himself. He was like kind of musically like Mr. Hivesmasher,
Yeah.
and he left just, I think it was, at that time it was mostly just burnout or whatever. And we replaced him with our friend Jim, who fit right in, and that like all worked out really good. And we did a ton of touring after that, and that was all awesome. But for whatever reason, like it might have been maybe a combination of like people being a little bit more physically spread out, making practice a little tough, and we just kind of weren't really getting anywhere writing, and it just, I don't know, for whatever reason it just kind of went the course, I guess.
How many years was that?
So yeah, it was nothing like, there was no blowout or anything weird. It was just like, I don't know, people weren't psyched about it anymore, and it's not like you're making a living playing grind. It's if you're not in it because you love doing it, then you should probably get the fuck out, because it's a grind, grind. I think, use a stupid pun, like it's hard, it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, I think of my buddies in Fuck the Facts. Like the band's called Fuck the Facts. They're playing this weird version of grind. It's grind, but it's kind of their own thing. And yeah, like they, I know they're still like writing music, but they would have stopped a long time ago if they didn't absolutely love it. I think all of us. Fuck, man. How many years?
Yeah, it's not like we're getting rich.
No. Rich and friends. That's it. It's not like my friends are gonna pay my rent though. How many years was that? How many years was Hivesmasher? 5 or 6?
So I guess I was with the band from like 2007 or so.
Okay.
And
sorry, say hi, Tim.
Hi.
Say good night.
Hello.
Say good night.
Good night.
Okay. See you, buddy.
Night night.
Good night.
He's
Good night.
Good night.
Okay. Shit, hold up. Okay, bye, buddy.
Bye.
You know what it is? Sorry. It's every time I do these episodes, it's about 8 o'clock, and he goes to bed around now. This is like the 4th episode now that he's popped on, which is cool.
That's
but
all right.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
just the timing of it all.
Hey man, it's your podcast. You control the format. You want to have your kid on? That's totally cool.
Sorry. So say it again. I kind of got distracted. So how many years was it?
I think so. The band started, I don't know, maybe like 2004 or so, or 5, something like that.
Holy shit, eh?
That was before I was in the band, and they weren't super active then, but they were kind of they existed for a couple of years. They put out like an EP and the band's first full length, and right after that they had their Spinal Tap drummer situation going on for a little while. And so yeah, and then I joined up, I guess, around like 2006 or 7, and then things got a lot busier after that for the band.
Were you guys?
It was sort of like started as a side project and kind of was like a thing that they were doing, but like no one was going too crazy. And then I like have one speed, which is fast. So it's like, if I'm doing this, we're fucking going for broke, and we did.
Was that the last Black Market release, you guys, or one of the last? Or is that still a thing?
Good question. I can't remember. I know Phantom Glue was right around the same time. I don't remember if they were after us or before us, but yeah, I think so. If not the last one, maybe like the second to last one or something.
Yeah. That was another thing.
Yeah, guy's just kind of moved on to other things mostly. Like he's right around then, I think he was in training to be an officer, and now he's a police officer in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Wow.
So yeah, he's I mean, I still see him around every once in a while. He's like still at shows and stuff, and we hang and say hi and whatnot. But yeah, he's an adult.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Did they I guess 2 questions here. One of them, like, did they just press it and like handle the PR for that record, or was it just kind of like or like near the end of it? I wonder, like how much push they put to it.
Yeah, we had we worked out a deal with Guy where we had already recorded and mastered the album and everything, so we had that part all set. And yeah, I think we worked out a split of the cost and profit of selling the records, basically. And he was working for Indie Merch at the time, so there was like also like a merchandise print where we took that same model. So we were kind of just like, basically the model was we are 50-50 partners on this release and the stuff that goes with it, for better or for worse. Like 50-50 expense, 50-50 profit, just we're straight up partners.
How did it?
And that worked out great. It
Yeah.
was like we were, everybody made their money back eventually, and it worked out good.
That's cool. Yeah, it's like
We wouldn't have been able to definitely wouldn't have been like the same, like have the same reach and get it out to as many ears without that. So that was totally huge.
Did that help with like Los Bungalitos at all? Like any sort of bleed off and like maybe contacts or like
Totally.
Yeah? Like how so?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, like really in every way, like contacts definitely have like even still have like people that I had shows with Hivesmasher, I'm like still hitting up to book shows for one of the bands I'm playing in now or whatever. So definitely like overlap with that. And it's just like if people are looking up one, then they will end up finding links to others, or just like if someone's writing about the band, they might mention the other bands that people playing, and that gets more people to see it.
Yeah.
It's just like the more it's like a rising tides lifting all boats kind of situation.
Yeah, I guess because Los Bungalitos is older than Hivesmasher, and that was like you were with them before you joined Hivesmasher, right?
Yeah, so Los B started spring of 2003. So Los B has been going for an outrageous amount of time.
Wow.
Actually, shit, did we miss our 15th anniversary? I think we might have. But yeah, so Los B's been going for a super long time, and yeah, like there was definitely mutual benefit, I would say. Like it wasn't one directional by any stretch. It was like like just having that many more contacts and people that are willing to help you out, that definitely cuts both ways. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Those are weird benefits of that hard work and stuff you put in. You don't make financial gain, but you get these weird other peripheral gains, like, booking shows easier.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even now, it's I've just found as I'm booking tours, like even for stuff that I've got coming up later this year or whatever, it's I don't want to say easy because that's like not the right word, nor do I want to curse it, but It's been a lot more straightforward than it used to be. It's like, okay, we need to play in Maryland. Who do I know in Maryland? Here are all the people that I've played shows for before. Maybe they're not in the game anymore, but like they know someone. It's like the days of being completely helpless or feeling almost helpless, just like, how the fuck am I gonna book a show there? I don't know anybody there. I don't even know anybody that knows anybody there.
Yep.
Like that has for the most part faded away, and like that has made life a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, you hope for that, man. Like I know what you're saying. It's like you have to get vetted in almost by certain people. It's like a guarded thing. Like I'm not just gonna help you out, at which you need some strangers at some point to start helping you out. But yeah, it's nice to see that that's a real thing, like some sort of inclination in ease of doing something difficult.
Yeah, or I mean, in that you also like you adjust your expectations to some extent as you go, and like a lot of it is just like recognizing pitfalls and knowing how to like read between the lines, be like, no, that's actually going to be a really shitty show that you like totally don't want to be at.
Yeah.
You just you learn those things over time.
It's funny. I'm right now we're my two-piece band, we're turning down shows, which is funny to me to think of a time where I was dying to play shows, and now it's with age just like we need to focus on this and do that, and it's you hope I'm kind of like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm saying like, oh, we can't play your show, but it's just, I feel proud that like, oh, we've learned some things. Like I feel good about our decisions, right? It's like if after doing it for
Yeah,
this
you get to be
long,
selective. That's where it's at.
yeah, and just working smarter, not harder. You know, like fuck,
Yeah.
I don't have the time for that. Did you
Yeah, man.
did you do Japan with the red chord?
Yes, I played 3 shows with the red chord, 2 in Japan and then 1 in Worcester, essentially the hometown thing.
Wait, so 2 in Japan and 1 back home.
Yep. And then yeah, and those were like, that was crazy. That
Yeah,
was,
I
like,
would love to hear
such
about
a
all this.
eye-opening experience for sure. Yeah, it was like we played what the hell is the name of, I can't remember the name of the fest, but it was like but there was like a, I don't know, like 15 band fest, and then the next night was a club show with like, I don't know, like 100, 100 cap rooms, something like that. It's like a much smaller thing, both in the Tokyo area, and those were killer, and it was like it was just so, it was super eye-opening for me to like hang with pros and just be like, oh, so that's how you do it. That's what you do for the 3 hours before a show. Like, oh, that's why you even get a green room. It's like, because you actually have shit to do, or like whatever.
Like just as far as like practicing, or like, because like I don't know.
Yeah, like warming up and just like getting, like just making sure shit's where, everything is lined up the way it's supposed to be, ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Just like, and they, the 3 of them, Guy, Greg, and Mike, have been, they've all been together for a zillion years, even though they've had, I think 7 different drummers, including me. But like, they're just like a super tight unit, and it's just, it was admirable in some ways. Or it's just like crazy that they were still at it and still doing it, and not like ripping each other's throats out the whole time or anything.
Were you pretty nervous about those gigs? Playing?
Yeah, I mean, we practiced a shitload. I actually, at the time, I was living in Somerville, which is like a kind of a part of Boston, and Mike was pretty much right down the street, so we were getting together like super regularly. And I'd been playing in his side project, Stomach Earth. That was he and the bass player. So I'd been playing with them for a couple of years already anyway. So like all that was super smooth. But yeah, it was like those, I guess in order, the show in Japan and then the one in Worcester were like definitely the 2 biggest shows I'd ever played in terms of like attendance and,
how many
and
people?
stuff. I don't know, like the one in Japan was like, I don't know, maybe 500 or so. Like it wasn't like a massive outdoor festival.
It's a lot of
anything. It was like
people,
a pretty big crowd. And
Yeah.
then, and then the one in Worcester was, I don't know, like 1,500 or maybe a little more, something like that. But like that was definitely like the biggest crowd I had ever seen. I was like, holy shit, this is pretty rad. And like I've seen, been seeing like huge bands on that stage since I was like 14. So it was very cool to like kind of like play on that stage, kind of check that box off. It was pretty rad.
So it was just, you were well rehearsed, and it was just like, I'm just going to go through. Because I picture, anytime I hear opportunities that my buddies get to do these big things, I picture myself doing it, and I picture myself freaking out and like dropping sticks and like totally fucking up the set. And I'm always amazed at how it's executed, right? But I guess you're ready.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like part of it is, I think that like Zen notion of not thinking about it, because if you're thinking about it too hard, then you're probably not doing it. You're just thinking about it,
Yeah. Do you ever do you struggle with that at all in your playing? Like second guessing yourself?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like definitely the best is when you're, kind of in the zone, as they say, where you're not really trying to be too like analytical or anything. You're just well rehearsed and doing what you're supposed to do, and it's muscle memory taking over, and you're not really thinking about it.
True, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you kind of have to, and like a lot of that, the red chord material is like super intricate, obviously. So there's some elements where it's like, okay, I really like did have to kind of like count it out, or like pay careful attention on what was going on. But the more you can just fucking rock out, the better.
Do you I guess the thing I really struggle with all the time, so I'm kind of curious how other people handle it. Like, will you have a drink before you play, or you just kind of like empty your head, or like, because this stuff you were playing, even with Hivesmasher and even Los Bungalitos, is ripping shit. It's not easy shit.
Yeah, I mean with Los B and Hivesmasher, it's way easier at this point to just like not think about it and just do it, because it was so much repetition. So I mean, with even as much as we had practiced with the red chord and were prepared to do that stuff, that was like not anywhere near as much time. But yeah, usually I'll like get have a drink or two, like not ideally not more or fewer than that is like kind of the sweet spot.
I hear you, man. There is definitely a sweet spot.
But yeah, that helps. I mean, like for me personally, like I'm usually, I guess I'm like, by the time the set rolls around, I'm less nervous if I've already given myself a chance to like have that feeling and get over it, kind of. It's like, like get loosened up and, like give myself enough time to feel comfortable before it's even time to start setting stuff up. You know what I mean? Because like rush, there's like other things ancillary to actually playing that can kind of get you, like kind of too wound up, and that can be distracting. If like shit's not organized, or somebody's late, or just like you're not warmed up as well, and then like you're already, before you've even started, you're like, oh, I'm not warmed up. You're nervous about playing bad. You probably are gonna.
Yeah.
Like giving yourself enough time to get in a good headspace before doing it definitely helps.
Do you warm up before sets, or do you just sit down and play?
Yeah, I do. I've had problems in the past with tendonitis in both my wrists and my Achilles.
Wow.
So it's like pretty much a necessity, especially if like if it's going to be like on a tour or something where it's multiple days in a row, then I definitely need to be like really on top of warming up and paying attention to that shit.
Yeah.
If it's just like one night, depending on what band it is, I could probably get away with like running in, setting up my stuff, playing, and it would be fine. But yeah, it's definitely better to like get loose, get comfortable, just not be high strung before you even get up to the stage. Like there's plenty of time for that.
Yeah. Do you with both like Hivesmasher and Los Bungalitos, was one harder to be creative with? Like more like, which one was more difficult to write for? Because Los B is kind of like one vein and Hivesmasher was another vein, and there's crossover, but did you find one was like, fuck, it's hard to write to this or not? Or I'm kind of curious your approach to both bands.
Yeah, I mean with both of those bands, and really for like, I guess for the most part with most of the bands that I've played with, I've done more like song structure and assembly and arrangement stuff, and then like, of course, being a drummer, like reacting usually to other people's riffs more so than like writing the stuff. Like there's some elements of that, but like mostly it's someone will be like, oh, play this kind of a riff with it, I want you to do this sort of a feel, and then I will react to that and try to create off of it more so than like than me showing up to practice and having like a full song.
So you kind of, I guess, applied.
And it's definitely like varies between the two bands too. Just like different, just totally different writing processes and, the internal dynamics of who's contributing what and all that.
Yeah, it's because I think about if they're like for an outsider, and it's not like I've listened to you play drums your whole life, so it's not like I could really pick out like a signature sound. But it's interesting to think if someone was to listen to both bands to be like, oh, that's Tim on both bands, and like how people get to that point, right? Like I'd love to get to that point where people could be like, oh, that's Steve playing behind the kit. I think that's a cool thing to strive for, but like kind of almost impossible at the same time to get.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It'd be cool, but whatever. We can talk about the new record. I guess you guys are gonna put out soon. Nueva Inglaterra.
Yeah. So we recorded that last, I guess, right around a year ago. We did a week-long lockout at a studio in Massachusetts, Sonic Titan, and we kind of needed to do it that way because like in times past we had done like the multiple series of overdubs and like do this thing then wait 2 weeks then do another thing, and we were pretty like cognizant of the fact that that was not working out great and that it definitely wasn't going to, given everybody's schedules and hectic lives at this time around. So we took time off and we're more or less kind of in the same room for like a week during the tracking, and that helped a lot.
Wow.
And then we mixed it with a guy named Jay Moss, who does like mostly hardcore records, but like a lot of the especially melodic hardcore stuff that came out of New England in the past like 10 years or so. Like he did the last Bane record, and he was in Defeater and produced all their albums and does a lot of that sort of stuff. And he did a killer job with the mixing. We were really stoked about that. And then went with Brad Boatwright to do the mastering, who what the hell's the name of his outfit?
Audio Siege. Yeah.
Out in Portland.
Yeah, he did.
It came together like I'm really, really psyched the way it came together. We're putting it out. We got to figure out when. We'll get an estimate for a vinyl date, and then we'll figure out the release date and stuff around that, but definitely within the next several months.
Cool, man. And then is there a lot of touring plans for that?
A bit. We're going to do, we got 2 tours planned for the rest of this year. Probably like a 2-week thing in September, and then maybe another 10-day or so venture in December.
Wow. Cool. Is it so with this I saw like you guys are working with Grind Ethos. Is that still a thing, booking you guys are doing?
Yeah. So that's our friend Megan Wright's outfit. She's doing she basically does like full album cycle management.
Oh wow.
So yeah, she's helping out with a lot of different stuff. So like we kind of came to the point really with like kind of everything about this album when we were preparing to record it and figure out what we were going to do with it, where we all were kind of collectively like, we're not getting any younger, so if we're ever going to try to like really go all out and do it as right as we can possibly do it, now's the time to do it that way. So we kind of as far as a punk band goes, pulled out all the stops,
Yeah, got your shit in order and didn't just like book basement shows for 4 weeks.
Yeah, and just we realized that like we've always been kind of a victim to that sort of idea of like the painter who has like a shitty house, or like like has like the ugly house that needs a coat of paint, or like the carpenter who's like front porch is falling apart because he's making money doing carpentry for other people. We suffered from that in a pretty big way. Like, I think there was like, I don't know what the right word for it is, but it was, it was like we had several people in the band that, knew their way around a studio. So we'd like set up in someone's house and like shit the thing out. And, that was sort of like our recording process, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, it was like, we knew all the shortcuts to take and took them. Like if or all the shortcuts you could take, maybe they shouldn't have been taken, but like it was just always this idea of like, oh yeah, we are capable of doing this, so that's the plan. And then when it came to execution, it was like, oh yeah, well, just because you're theoretically capable of pulling something off doesn't necessarily mean that you have the resources or the time or the this or the that. It's not a perfect world, and we were, I think, always a little more optimistic about things, I guess. Just kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll have time to do this. Like, oh yeah, one day we're good, that'll be fine, and we were really like, made a conscious decision this time to be like, no, we're not going to try to engineer it ourselves. We're not going to try to do it in our practice space. We're not going to try to, we're not going to cut corners. Like, let's really do everything about as proper as we can scrounge up the money to do, pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like that comes with age. You don't really want to waste time, right? If you're going to put effort into something, it's got to be done right.
That's totally what it is. That's really what it came down to, is if we're going to bother to do this at all, like, we got to, the level of quality needs to come up. Or else, like, what are we wasting our time for?
Totally, man. Totally. It's because you don't have to do it at this point, right? It's not like it's a band that makes money. It's like a fun thing to do. So
yeah, we're psyched if we can cover some expenses and make our money back. That'd be sweet. But if we don't, that's kind of fine too. Like we're trying to. We're aiming for that.
Yeah, I think the goal is just to invest and make that back, and then just not lose years and years of money. I don't have that money or time myself anymore, and that's actually kind of why the Sabs have slowed down so much. I just don't have the free time or the free money that I used to. So just hand in hand goes with that band slowing down. But we do have plans, but it's same thing. It's just like, if we want to do it, we should do it as best as we can, because I don't want to waste my time or their time or the listeners' time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's especially like, and the longer you do this, it's just, I don't know, it has to keep getting better, or else you would not want to do it anymore. Or at least that's how I feel. Is like, if you have a stinker of a show every now and then, like, shit happens, but like, if the overall trajectory isn't up, while your age trajectory is definitely up, like, it just, that math doesn't work out, man. Like, it's got to keep getting better. There's really the only option.
Well, I'm just thinking now, like, it's so rare to see dudes in their like late 40s still playing bullshit shows, Like, I feel like those, was that a little doggo?
Oh, a cat.
Oh, a little kitty. But like, maybe as you get 40s and 50s, you're going to be mad selective with your shows. Like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and not play some shit show to 10 kids who don't give a shit.
Yeah, totally.
Because if I did see someone that old playing some shit show like that, I think it'd be more sad than like, fuck yeah, these guys are still doing it. I think I'd be more bummed.
It's a little from column A and a little from column B. I definitely like know some bands that are kind of like that, and like, it's sort of both. I mean, but you got to figure, like, they must be enjoying it, right?
True.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, if there's only 10 people there and they're not enjoying it, then I'm really fucking confused. Like, because you're obviously not making any money there. Like, I could see being like, man, I fucking hate playing in front of 10,000 people a night because this band sucks, but money. Like I would
True.
do that,
Yep.
but I would never, that doesn't happen if there's 10 people in the crowd. You better fucking like it.
Oh my God. Did you ever have a time ever in the last however long you've been playing where you wanted to stop, or you're like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go to school or something?
I mean, yes and no. Like and there's always like ups and downs for sure. And like in my most frustrated of states, sure, I'd probably feel that way for like a couple hours or a couple days or maybe even like a week, but like never long enough to like to do anything actionable about it. Like, whenever heads are cool, it's like, well, no, I'm not gonna stop doing this. Like I don't know, I've been like playing DIY shows and stuff since I was 15 or 16. Like more of my life has been spent doing it at this point than not.
Okay.
So, how do you?
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. I don't even know like how I could. And I'm sure if I like decided to, I could walk away from it. But like, I don't
wonder
know
though.
why.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's like a terrifying thought to have my hand forced to stop, because I would still see my buddies playing shows and photos, and I know I'd 100% miss it. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
No way I could not do it. We'll go for a little longer here. I just have a couple more questions, man. I don't like to keep people too long. We all have our lives. On our whole topic of not wasting time, like, hey, let's just fucking talk music for an hour. But
nah, man, hanging with buds is never a waste of
time. You guys did like some Caribbean dates and stuff, I saw too. You guys, what's that like? Where? Yeah,
so the singer of Los Bungalitos, Enrique, grew up in Puerto Rico, and he was there all through high school, and then came up to Massachusetts for college.
Okay, wow.
And we all met in the music department at University of Massachusetts, and he and our guitar player Julius had a radio show together at the college station and founded Los B together way back when. But he was involved in the hardcore scene down there when he was in high school, and when he would go back and visit family and whatnot, he was like, still seeing all his old people and kept in touch with everybody. So Los B, through that connection, played in Puerto Rico, I guess, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
I guess twice, and then Hivesmasher went down once, and through friends that I made, essentially, with Julius and I made with Los B, and then once we went down another time because Julius actually ended up meeting and later marrying a girl.
Oh wow.
That was like an old friend of Enrique's from Puerto Rico.
Crazy.
Yeah, man, that's probably the craziest like tour outcome I can like I've ever heard. It's like, yeah, I met this chick in Puerto Rico, and then she started coming to visit me in Massachusetts, and a few years later they're married. And
wow.
They have 2 dogs. It's awesome.
Holy shit, man. That's so dope to have those opportunities. I know some buddies who did, like Hard Charger, they did Mexico a couple times, I think. And
yeah, I'm super envious of that. That's a big one on Los Bungalitos' list.
Yeah.
Is like, that's gonna happen at some point, I'm sure. We actually got a decent connect down there, and it's really just a matter of like figuring out when the right time to do it is. But that's gonna happen at some point, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. How's your Spanish?
I know practically none.
I don't know much either. That sounds dope. I'm curious to the any pronounced differences down there. The shows, like, do they start earlier or later, or like any like major things, or not really?
Yeah, the punk time is like even more extreme than it is like around our neck of the woods. It's like says it starts at 6, it's probably like 10. They're I think perhaps just because it's like just a smaller number of people to draw from. I think there's like it struck me as there being like more mixed genre kind of bills.
Okay.
Or that, and I guess like kind of the flip side of that is it's not like there's a, I mean, to some degree, yeah, but there's not like as strict of like this is the metal scene and this is the hardcore scene and this is the punk scene, and they're not going to be playing the same shows, you know. It's like it's not really like that. It's just like, oh, there's a show going on at one of the few places around San Juan that'll have one, or whatever. Like, you know, there's like, it's just more of a mixed scene, it seems like, to me anyway.
How and I'm not sure how it works with like flying in, but you just say like, hey, we're playing shows here and it's no big deal, or is it?
Yeah, so it's for U.S. citizens, it's a territory, so we don't like, there's no like customs or passport control or any of that sort of stuff. You just have to like get your bag put through an X-ray to make sure you don't have fruit or meat or whatever stuff. So that's like the contamination thing. But other than that, like you show up, you spend U.S. dollars. You know, it's like just like flying anywhere else.
That's nuts, man. Fuck.
Yeah, it's very cool in that regard, because it especially when you get outside of the touristy area of San Juan, like it looks and feels like a different country, because you know it is and probably should be.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's only not a different country in name, essentially. You know, on paper it's not a different country, but like you go there and it's like they're not speaking your language, they're not living your lifestyle. Like that's a different fucking country, man. And it's an awesome one.
Fuck.
But you know, in like a sort of selfish perspective of it, it's like pretty cool to be able to go to what feels like a different country and like not have to deal with any of the hassles of international travel. So for like a U.S. citizen, it's the shit. It's awesome.
Man, yeah. Well, shit, yeah. I'm just thinking like if we did it, I know we'd have to get some shit. But Mexico, I don't think is difficult. I should ask the hard charger guys, but I don't know. Yeah,
it's still paperwork. It's still pretty shitty for Canadian bands to come into the States right now, huh?
Oh yeah,
it's
man.
Like that hasn't improved over the past couple of years.
It's gotten worse, man. It's gotten worse because there used to be a shorter window of time that you would get your paperwork approved, and then that got extended to like longer. Like it's still retardedly fucking hard, man. Like it's just more expensive than hard, but whatever.
Yeah, that's such a bummer. I mean, I've kind of kept hearing that, and I'm sad to hear that it's still the case, because like, I mean, it's you know, like we loved having you guys down, and would love for that to happen again. And like we were so you know, we hosted Hard Charger whenever it was a few years ago, and then we went up and played with them up in their neck of the woods, and we're like, hey, we got to get you guys back down. And they're like, nah, man, like we're just not gonna do that. Like it's too expensive, it's too much of a pain in the ass, and it's like it's easier to go to Europe than it is for them to come to fucking Massachusetts, and that's the stupidest shit in the world. That's so dumb. Like I would love to have you guys down, I'd love to have them down, I'd love to bring Sego down, and like not just return the favor, but like the bands fucking rip. Like I want to play with and see these bands, and I can't do it. It sucks.
I know, man. It's maybe one day it'll be like weed becoming legal in Canada. Like maybe it'll be this big sort of thing. Like it's now the U.S. are cool to shitty punk kids. I don't know. You know, maybe shit. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it can change in like a poorer direction, that means it can change in a better direction too, I suppose, right?
We'll see, man. We'll see.
I would hope.
Last thing I want to kind of touch on is because I want to play something off of it. The Puerto Rican Relief EP you guys did. Like,
yeah.
Did you raise that? Like, I think it was like $1,500+ through that EP itself?
Yeah, so we had done the EP just as basically like a pre-pro thing for the album, and we had it up, and you know, we were so far past the previous material that we had recorded that we felt we needed to like even do a quick recording of what we were what we were up to, just to represent the current state of the band, I suppose. So anyway, we kind of already had that recording in our pockets, and then when the Maria disaster struck, it was like kind of obvious to us that we could probably use that to raise some funds. So that 1,500 plus that we came up with was a combination of people giving extremely generous prices for the EP. We set it up on Bandcamp as like a name your own price thing, and use that to collect donations. We had a show in Lowell where the proceeds went to that, and similarly, people were like paying astronomical door charges that were like totally not, like not proportional to a normal show. So it was like, sort of to answer your questions, like it's not like we sold $1,500 worth of copies of the EP, but yes, we like sort of.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's it shows. I think of things like that for people who are outsiders to the scene. To when you try to describe like these metal punk guys are nice people. Here's an example.
Well, like nicer than normal, I would think.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that shit. I have like, depending on the shirt that someone's wearing, I'll kind of like have a feel of like, this guy's good shit. If I saw a dude with like a Hivesmasher shirt, I'd be like, this guy's cool. No, hopefully he's not like some racist piece of shit that likes your band. Fuck. We joked about that once where we did a show and this beer company sponsored the show and they had free swag. And we just said, like, Matt, watching tomorrow, there's some gnarly hate crime, and the guy's wearing that shirt, and that gets smeared everywhere. Fucking brewery goes to the shitter. Just, fuck, why do we give those shirts away? But, yo, man, fuck, I do them about this long, and then I do the Hibzine, which is just we'll play some music. So it's kind of your choice. I was going to play something off the last EP because it's the newest stuff. But I don't know. We could play something from the record before. If you want to go all the way back to like that first 5 years thing, I don't know. It's your call.
Yeah, why don't we do, let me think. Shit, what the hell is even on that EP?
I think there's Decapitated and Antiquated Modernity. Is that how you say Modernity? Modernity?
Yeah, Antiquated Modernity.
And then there's the Spanish song.
Yeah, how about Vassals of Innovation?
Okay.
That's a good one.
Cool. So I'll put that in right here. I guess if people still buy shit, you can was there a cutoff point to it as far as like the proceeds? Like I don't know.
No, I mean like if and we haven't like been pushing that effort really anymore, but like if people want to continue donating to that cause, buying the EP is a way to do it.
Okay, word. So, sorry, what is Vassal of Innovation?
Vassals of Innovation.
Vassals of Innovation. Okay, so we'll put that in right here. Vassals of Innovation by Los Bungalitos. That's about it, man. Just wanted to fucking catch up. That's the fun thing about this is I've met enough people that I can just be like, let's literally just catch up, and I can kind of grill you about what you've been up to. So.
Yeah, that fucking rules, man. I was listening. I was listening to Crossley's just before we were talking while Jess and I were eating dinner. So I was like, make sure I had a feel for like what what your format was or whatever. So I was like searching through. I was like, I bet I know somebody in here if I look through the episodes. Like fucking Crossley, I'll listen to that one.
Totally, man. Fucking love that guy. Yeah, we went. Do you know who Dean Del Rey is? He's a comedian.
No, I don't think so.
He's kind of like a rocker dude. Me, Muskie, and you met Muskie, right? No.
I haven't met him, but we've corresponded on Facebook a few times before about shows and stuff. But I don't know. Actually, yeah, I think we did meet, like really super quickly. But I don't know. Anyway.
The three of us went to some comedy show, and it was just like those two guys are the best. Crossley's the fucking best too, man. If he's listening, all love to Crossley, but
totally.
Yeah, that's it, man. Just I don't know. This will go up on Monday, and I'll just tag you, and I don't know. Hopefully, like when you guys come up, or if you come up, then I'll drag my old man ass out, and have a coffee at like 7. That way, I'll be good for the night.
Hell yeah, man. I know. So Los Bungalitos is planning on coming through in September. Actually, I've been talking to Crossley about getting some stuff set up in Toronto.
Cool.
So yeah, I think like middle of September we'll be around.
Okay, I'm gonna obviously keep an eye on it, and then it'd be dope, man. It'd be good to like not be a screen away from you to actually see you in person.
Yeah, totally, man. I love that.
Man, thanks for doing it, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'll see you maybe September.
Hope so.
All right, peace, buddy.
Take it easy, man.
Take it easy. All right, cool. Fucking A. Is it odd to end the show like that? Do you guys like it when I would just tell them to hold the line? I was just thinking of that as I was thinking in my head about, okay, I'm going to close this off soon, that just to leave the guest awkwardly hanging while I'm closing the show. I'm not really feeling that, but whatever. That was great, man. Fucking, if you haven't listened to Hivesmasher or Los Bungalitos, fucking obviously you just heard Los Bungalitos, but Hivesmasher too. That was how I was introduced to Tim, and you'll see all that shit. Let me just close this off. The homepage, again, takerwide.com is up. Please sign up for the newsletter. I'll be sending that newsletter once a week. Summary of the show, special offers from the sponsors that you can only get through the newsletter. So, yeah, go takerwide.com and check it out. Sponsors, let me just close out real quick with them. Kevin Rigo out in Kitchener for your new car. Mention the show, get special pricing. The Wellington Brewery with their grisette, 25 cents of each sale of their can is so donated to Guelph Wellington Women in Crisis. DapperBeardOil.com. Use promo code TakerWide free ship for your free shipping. Ironclad Graphics. Out in Kingston for your t-shirts. Mention the show, get $25 credit. Heartbeat Hot Sauce made out in Thunder Bay. Delicious, so good. Use promo code TakerWide5. That's just the number 5% off. And is that all of them? Oh, Dave Levitt Photography. The homie, davelevittphotography.ca. Instagram is still up. Twitter's there. What else can I say? Rate, review, tell a friend. Give me feedbacks. Just, we're all buddies. Just send me a message like, hey, maybe you could improve on this or change this or whatever. I'm 100% open to hearing criticisms about the show. What I want is this to be an entertaining, good thing. I want to be proud of my work. So just help me out. Help me help you. That's it. I'll be back next week, guys. Thank you 100%, always and forever for listening. Take her wide. This is Steve, and I'm out. Peace.